You know, I have had this love-hate relationship with waste almost all my life. It actually started when I was about 7 years old. When I was 7 years old, I was in second grade, I got called into the principal's office. And sheer terror filled me when I saw my father sitting in his office. I had no idea what I had done wrong, but I knew it was really bad. And the principal turned to my father and began talking to him as if I never even existed. And he looked at my father and he said, "We have a problem here. Your daughter cannot read. As a matter of fact, your daughter is incapable of learning. And we have to come up with a new plan for her." And he said, "My advice to you, Mr. Alvarez, is that you find her a good man, you get her married so that someone can take care of her." Now, I didn't exactly know what was going on at that moment, but I knew it was really bad, and I didn't like what I heard. And I looked at my father, and I thought, oh my God, I am in trouble. But this man, my father, he stood up. He was a quiet man, but he stood up, and he looked at that principal, and he said, "Hell no." Hell no, there is no way I am going to let you squander her potential. And my love-hate relationship with waste was born at that moment. I come from a family that wasted nothing. To this day, my mother stands up with great pride and she says, "I can make 4 meals out of 1 chicken." The seeds of the Revalue economy, which we're going to be talking about today, were born in those formative moments of my life. Now, I have come to understand and truly believe that a Revalue economy is a way of changing the world. I spend many of my days looking at heirlooms and collectibles and trying to figure out the value in them. I visit flea markets and thrift stores. I spend a lot of my time doing that. But I understand, and I understood very clearly, that that is not the Revalue economy. So I actually have a business proposition for you here today. How many of you are entrepreneurs? Raise your hand. I see quite a few of you. Well, I have a business idea that I'm going to present to you right now that I guarantee you, the minute this ends, you're going to run out, you're going to find some people, you're going to get it posted, and you're going to raise some capital for it, because that's how good this idea is. Okay? How would you like to basically make $3 billion a year selling used stuff? How'd you like to make $3 billion a year? How would you like to have the power to employ 63,000 people? Many of them have been living on the margins of society. They have had low skills, they've been in prison, they've been homeless, and so forth. Changing the lives of 63,000 people by employing them. How would you like to, at the same time, divert 80 million pounds of waste out of landfill? I'm talking about 50 football fields of waste diverted from the landfill so that they can become the playgrounds that these children are running on. How would you like to make a 20 to 25% margin on that? And guess what? There's almost no competition. Pretty good business deal, right? I guarantee you're going to run out and try to raise money for it. Now, often when I talk like that, people say to me, wait, I am confused here. Wait a minute, are you a socialist or are you a capitalist? What exactly are you? And I used to just go, yeah. But today, on this stage, I am coming out. I am coming out as a revaluist. We have to come together and fundamentally reframe our thinking and our doing. We have to become intentional about the waste and the squander that we allow and we actually create. We participate in its creation. I believe that innovation, I used to think that innovation happened at the edge. No, I don't believe that anymore. Innovation happens at the seam. when two unlikely forces or factors come together, and in the coming together, they create a new possibility, a new opportunity. The Revalue economy is about bringing two unlikely forces together. People living in poverty and the things we throw away. People living in poverty and the things we throw away. Now, usually at this point, there's about 4 or 5 people in the audience that go, "What is she talking about?" So let me break it down for you. Let me make it real simple. Right now, in the United States, we throw away 1 million units of electronic devices every single day. 1 million units of electronic devices every single day. Only 19% of that gets recycled. And 40% of that 1 million are what am I holding in my hand? A mobile device. We do that every single day in this country. At the very same time, we have 2.3 million people in this country living in prisons and jails right this moment. And we have another 5.1 million people on parole. Do you know that 1 in 48 working age men are in prison? If I look out in this audience, that's at least 7 of you will be in prison. 1 in 48 men live in prison right now. Now, I don't know about you, but that shocks me to no end. In this country, that's the reality. We spend $80 billion a year on prison, and 70% of those people will re-offend within 1 to 2 years. Now, the shocking thing is that I know I want to live in a safe community. We all want to live in a safe community. But 60% of those people committed crimes related to drugs and to a lack of jobs and employment and opportunity. So I say to you, man, we have to decide as a nation, we have to decide as a people, we have to decide, do we really believe that some people are as disposable as this cell phone? You see, I have a completely different framework on life. I believe that we have to harvest the value of everything and everyone. I don't see waste. I see opportunity. I see value. And we have to harvest the value of those things that scare us the most. Man, this requires a new kind of willingness on my part and on all of our parts. I believe that this is just the right amount of wrong. Now, Dr. King understood this. He understood it very clearly. And Rachel Carson, who's on this screen up here, she was the godmother of the environmental movement in the United States in the 1950s. She understood this. They both understood that we have to stretch beyond one person and one thing. The enormity of the problems that we face and confront us require us to think and act in economies of scale. Don't be afraid to think big, to act big. We have the power to reduce and change the course of poverty in this nation. We have it. You have it. I have it. We have that power. And we have the power to do it at scale. And the irony is that with community and the tools of business, we can get it done. So what is the problem? What is stopping us from getting it done? Well, I think one of the fundamental problems is we got to start reimagining. We have to fundamentally reimagine our connection to the poor, that word that nobody wants to talk about nowadays. We have to fundamentally reimagine our connection to the poor, to nature, to community, and to profit. Remember, I am an entrepreneur at heart. We have to start grafting the social principles of fairness and justice into the very fabric of business and profit. And it can be done. Don't tell me that it cannot be done. It can be done. There are companies like Salesforce that are donating 1% of their net profits to doing good. Kiva that basically reimagined and redefined investment. One Pacific Coast Bank, which is banking on prosperity in the poorest of our communities. So don't tell me that we can't weave this fabric together of justice and business and profit and fairness, because we can. So what is it going to take for us to reactivate ourselves? What is it going to take for us to get off the sidelines and start understanding that there is a new business paradigm that we must embrace? I don't understand why it seems so scary at times to marry the ancient maxims of Gandhi and the practices of business, as if somehow those two worlds cannot exist. Remember, innovation happens at the seam when two unlikely forces and factors come together to create a new possibility. I ask you, is it really safer to live in a disposal economy? Is it really safer to live in a disposal economy rather than a revalue economy? Ask yourselves that. What's the better proposition? You know, I'm coming back to that $80 billion a year in prison costs with a 70% failure rate. Aren't we done with doing time? Aren't we done with it? We do time, we count seat time, we waste time. Enough. Enough of that. What would happen if we just finally said, I see the value in you. I feel the value in you. I want to be near that value. What if we just started to leverage the value that exists all around us, exists in the person sitting next to you, in the person you've yet to meet? What if we were to start really leveraging the value in our cell phones, our discarded T-shirts, and blue jeans? Think about that. I know a program in San Francisco called Back on Track that for approximately $10,000 produces scholars and managers. It targets illegal drug dealers, and those illegal drug dealers become legitimate, tax-paying entrepreneurs. $80 billion and a 70% failure rate? $10,000 and a new entrepreneur. Yeah. You do the math. And this cell phone, I bet you every single person here has one either in their pocket or in their purse or in their backpack. This cell phone that we now discard every 4, 5, 6 months to get the newest edition. What if we were to look at the value of it? Do you know that 1 million cell phones produce 50 pounds of gold and 20,000 pounds of copper? How many mines could we close down if we actually saw and leveraged the value in the stuff we throw away? So I say to you that there is a new value proposition that we need to embrace. We need to start recruiting our talent, not just from the finest institutions like the one we're in today, but we need to recruit it from the corridors of prison and jail. We need to go to the welfare lines. We need to go to the street corners, and we need to get that next level of leadership here. Yeah. And you know that $3 billion business that I told you to go out and invest in? Well, that business exists right now. That business exists today. It's putting people to work. It's putting people to work on the margin and giving them a new opportunity. And guess what? That business is a nonprofit organization. That business is a nonprofit organization. And that business is called Goodwill. And for me, that's just the right amount of wrong. So I say to you, I am a revaluist. I am a revaluist. The people on the screen behind me, they are revaluists. Are you ready to become a revaluist? As a matter of fact, I have a question. Can we afford for you not to become a revaluist? How many more lives and how many more things are we going to squander? We can't afford that anymore. So I'm asking you right now, because I know a lot of you have got this little device somewhere in your hands. I'm asking you to pull out that little device right now And I want to ask you to take the pledge to become a revaluist and rethink the value proposition, to move from a concept of waste and squander, where we throw away people as easily as we throw away a torn t-shirt, where our prison system has become the new landfill scrap heap for human society, and turn that around and become a revaluist. Pull it out, get onto #Revalue, and let people know that we have the ability, the power, and the responsibility to revalue our world. Thank you very much.